Stephanie'sRockShow.com metal update. We have an uber talented and funny guitarist of Weird Al Yankovic, Jim West, on the phone right now. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome, Stephanie, and it's a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so sweet. So you guys have a new album out now, Apocalypse. You're also touring currently. How's the tour been so far?
You know, the tour's been going really well, and I think even better since we've had a special on Comedy Central that's a live concert special, and that's run a couple of times, and I think I've noticed since that's been running, we've seem to be sold out every night, and I think it's really helping out a lot, but overall it's been really good, and probably the best tour we've ever had, I think.
I got a chance to see it when you came to Austin, Texas, and it's just amazing. I've seen them in the past, and it just gets better and better every year. I don't know how you guys do it.
That was a fun show, and Austin's a great music town, so, whenever you play Austin, you're always going to get a great audience.
So, okay, since Weird Al is pretty family-friendly, but we're wondering here at the station, things can get a little wild. What is the wildest thing that's happened on a Weird Al tour?
The wildest thing? Lord. Well, nobody's ever gotten into any serious trouble, but, we've had a few tour managers that have been pretty nutty. I can think of one in particular, but, usually it's the band is pretty mellow, really, and it's the crew that are kind of wild, and crazy. But, nowadays, it's not so much, but in the older days, sometimes we'd see our tour manager, crawling on top of the bar, barking like a dog or something, and things like that.
I love it. So I think the Weird Al band is one of those rare occasions that the crew is actually wilder than the band.
Well, I think so, yeah. The crew has a reputation for working hard and partying hard, and I think actually that's true in a lot of bands, really. I think the crew can be wilder than the band.
Besides Weird Al, you've also released 4 solo Satkey guitar albums. Can you explain a little bit to our audience and how it works and where you play?
Yeah, well, in the mid-'80s, I went to Hawaii just as a fluke, and I ended up in this small town called Hana, Maui, and a very Hawaiian place, and I got turned on to Hawaiian Satkey guitar, and what it is, it's an acoustic guitar style. It's not steel guitar like the slide and all that, but it's an acoustic style that started way back in the 1800s with the Hawaiian cowboys, and they, first got guitars from the Spanish cowboys who came over to teach them how to manage cattle, and Spanish cowboys left some guitars behind, and the Hawaiians really didn't like the way the guitar was tuned in normal tuning, so they started experimenting with changing the tuning of the guitar, so they would slap the strings down and create different tunings, and it's a beautiful sound, and there are many, many tunings, and I just started doing it because it's something I love to do, and eventually I started making records, and now I actually released my 5th CD. It just came out just a couple weeks ago, and that's called Nalani O Maui, which Maui Skies is what it means. But it's my CDs are mostly are instrumental, but it's really kind of like sort of island chill out acoustic guitar. It's very chilled out and very relaxing, and I just enjoy playing it.
That's awesome. I've read that you've been playing for a long time, and even at age 16, you started professionally in Florida rock bands, and you even were one in Steve J. How did you guys first meet? I didn't know you guys knew each other that long.
Yeah, we've known each other since we were in college, really. We went to college in Florida, and sort of knew each other there, and then ended up playing in a couple of bands together. And then we both sort of moved out to Los Angeles about the same time, and actually Steve met Al first, and then he played on Al's very, very first record, and when Al decided to put a band together, he referred him to me, and I went and auditioned for the gig, and at the time it was like, what, some guy with an accordion? I don't know. Yeah, as soon as I met Al and started, listening to the lyrics, even back then I thought, this guy's pretty smart. We started playing little shows, and it was a lot of fun, and eventually, then we worked on the next record, and that had a big hit, which was Eat It way back in the day, And then all of a sudden we were in tour buses and touring around and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really neat that it's been the same core band all these years. That's really hard to find nowadays.
It is. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, our keyboard player is a new guy. He's been there for 20 years.
Who are some of your musical influences growing up?
Well, when I first started playing guitar, my older brother played guitar, and he was listened to all the folk music and stuff, So that's when I first started playing acoustic guitar. And so I just, I guess I probably listened to some of his folk music records, and then just to listen to the guitar playing. And then when I was a couple years later, I started getting into rock and roll, and I really loved early Led Zeppelin and Cream, Eric Clapton, and a lot of the English bands. I really was influenced by a lot. And in fact, I think I really learned about blues from the English bands. A lot of the English bands, like the old Fleetwood Mac and people like that, have been playing blues. It was popular over there with the bands. Younger people to play blues, whereas in America it wasn't quite that popular in the mainstream. So I learned a lot about blues, even though I'm not really a blues player, but I was influenced by those bands, and I especially like Zeppelin and Eric Clapton, and of course Jimi Hendrix was a big influence in the early days. And then I got, over the years I just started enjoying all kinds of music. I listened to jazz guys, and blues guys, and classical players, and I have a really wide range of them.
So you guys, you just claimed from Santa Cruz, you're headed to Reno, Nevada. The Apocalypse Tour online says it ends November 12th. Does it really end, or are you guys just taking a break?
No, it actually ends, for the time being until next year. Yeah, November 12th will be the last show. That's going to be in Los Angeles, which is hometown for us. And we'll be playing at the Pantages Theater, which is a beautiful theater. I've never actually even been to the Pantages before. It's supposed to be wonderful. And that's basically it until next year. And next year we haven't got that figured out yet, but I'm sure there'll be lots of shows. Who knows? We might go to Australia again, or possibly the UK.
Yeah, you got to ride out the apocalypse till the apocalypse happens. I feel like that's just fitting. What's your favorite guitar solo to perform live?
Well, my only real solo, show off type of thing is at the end of the show, and that's always fun. That's at the very end, the very last song. I mean, not counting the encore, but before the encore is Hal's song "Fat." He does we do a sort of a vamp out on after Al leaves stage. I get to kind of just shred and jam on some lead guitar stuff. But mostly, mostly during the show, I do have some other moments where I get to kind of blaze a little bit. But it's mostly all about sort of supporting supporting Al and supporting the songs, and not really about us individually so much. We're kind of just support what's going on and play the parts. But I do get to jam out of the end, which is kind of fun.
Well, thanks so much, Jim, for a 10-minute update. Follow everything Jim West. Check out JimKimowest.com. And if you have anything else to add to your fans in Austin.
I really love you guys. I love Austin. I think it's one of the greatest music cities ever. And we always have such a great time in Austin. So don't ever change.
You're going to have to come back again soon. Thanks so much for stopping by.